was your experience at WWE from being signed there to being a part of NXT? I mean, we'll go through the whole run of things, but just like the initial deal of you going in there and signing a contract after doing Mae Young.
I felt like I was a rookie.
How really crazy.
It really did. Like, it was almost like I was asking for help, considering I've been in this business 20 years, but to be in a locker room and be actually contracted, it was a whole new thing. It was from the Mae Young. I knew how the inner workings worked. I mean, I've been an extra and I've been with WWE on and off, not with a contract, just constantly with them throughout my career. But this was different. This was me going to work. And it was like, where do I go? Where do I put my stuff? It felt like I just didn't know what I was. It literally felt like I was walking in my first day of school. Like, okay, what do I do here? And that's what it felt like. It was like I didn't have a locker yet. I'm like, so where do I put my stuff, guys?
What a weird feeling that is. I remember that being, you're just like, what do I do? Where do I go? I always give credit to Vicky Guerrero. She was the first person where I was like, am I allowed to go in the locker room? She's like, you can bring your stuff in here. I had no idea where I was going or what I was doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. It was like, all right, I've been here before. I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not an extra talent this time. This time, this is where I belong. So what do I do now? Do I still, it was just crazy. I was like, okay, totally my thumbs. Hey, can I put this here? And it was just like, yeah, you can do that. That's where your stuff belongs. Okay, cool, thanks. Now what do I do? What time is everything? It literally felt like I was going back to school for like the first day ever.
What was some of the stuff that you felt like you had to adjust to or ask for advice on? Was it more of like the TV side of things and like, or just like how NXT operates? What were the things that you found to be hard to adjust to?
I think it was the more of the training schedule. The TV stuff I was used to because I was used to doing TV. It wasn't new for me, the cameras and all that. That was easy to do. It was more or less the training schedules. Getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning to bump in the ring was crazy. Because I'm not used to bumping at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Nobody wants to do that.
No, not at 7 o'clock in the morning. So that was. But your day is done by like 11 o'clock with the gym and the training. And I'm just like, man, and then you have this whole day free. So that was a mind trip on itself because I'm not used to that. I think it was just adjusting to what they wanted compared to what I wanted. Going in, it was something different for me. I didn't have to train every day. And what people don't realize is that, I've been in business 20 years, but I wanted to. I wanted to be there. I wanted to train. I wanted to have the whole NXT experience of the PC. Not that it was required of me because it wasn't. They knew that I can bump. They knew that I can train. They knew that I was going to do my own gym stuff. It was more or less, I wanted to come and I wanted to be here. So put me in a group, put me in the training. Like, where do I go? Where do I go? So it was me always constantly calling coach and saying, hey, can I come to your gym class today? Because I'm bored. I need to train. He'd be like, yeah, just show up. I'm like, okay. So it was literally just like that. It was just kind of, if I wanted to be there, I would show up. I tried to make myself accessible and make myself feel the experience that everybody else is feeling so I can kind of understand where they were coming from. Sure. I didn't want to feel like a superstar, let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. I really didn't want to come in and say, hey, I'm the veteran, but I'm the veteran in the indies, but this is your house. Let me come and learn your style. Let me come and learn your ways so I can be acclimated to you guys. I'm very humble, very low key. Let me just be with you guys and build those relationships with everybody and learn your stuff and just take it all in. That's all I really wanted. And that's what I did at first.
Well, I feel like that must have been something that would have gone pretty far with, all the higher ups within WWE, seeing you put in that work when you didn't have to do that. Do you feel that was recognized in that way?
I hope so. I didn't move to Orlando when I got signed initially. I was still over in Clearwater / Largo area. So I was just showing up for TV only. Just because of, my personal, like I said, I was married, I had a child, he was in school, and my priorities were him. So I was just showing up just for TV days. So if I could make it to the training centers, then I would, but they also understood that I had a life that I can't just uproot like that. Yeah. There's a lot of factors in, but when the pandemic hit and stuff and all that good stuff, it was almost like, let me just move. My marriage was falling apart. It's a known fact that I was going through a divorce. So that was my chance to say, let me pick up and let me just go to Orlando and put all my efforts into that.
Right.
And then, so during the pandemic, I just moved to Orlando in the beginning of the pandemic, literally maybe 3 weeks in. everything gets shut down, and now I'm in a new city with nothing around, no child, no nothing. I was just like, all right, well, here we go. So I would hope that they saw it.
What did that do to you mentally, to be going through that, to not be with your kid all the time, to be going through a divorce, for in a pandemic? Like, talk about your world flipped upside down.
It was flipped upside down. It went from getting signed in January, go, living in Clearwater and stuff, and then all of a sudden, pandemic hit. I just moved to Orlando, and going through a divorce. My grandmother passed away. Everything just happened. When I say everything happened, it happened. In November of 2019, I was overseas, came back home, and it was like, all right, I just got signed. No one knows yet. We try not to leak it. And my my marriage fell apart around that time. Then, it is what it is. It's life. You deal with it. And I had to take it and to say, okay, let me deal with this when I can, because my grandmother passed away right after Christmas, and I had to go fly home to Connecticut, deal with that. And literally when I flew home, dealt with that, came back, I had to report to the PC. And I wasn't even living in Orlando yet. I was still living over in Clearwater area.
Oh my God.
By the time I got my apartment, it was like February of 2020. Been only with WWE for a month. My marriage fell apart. Didn't know when I was going to see my child. I was like, all right. And then pandemic hit in March. And it was just, everything just stopped. For me, the world just stopped. Mentally, I was it was, what do I do? So when I say the pandemic is a curse and a blessing, it was a curse for my career at that time, but it was a blessing because now I can deal with everything personally. I can deal with my emotions. I can deal with my breakup and the divorce, and hopefully seeing my child through all this, because he's he's immunocompromised. I was like, man, so we didn't know what was going on with all this. So I opted out because I'm immunocompromised. I'm vaccinated now, but I didn't know what COVID can do to me.
What makes you immunocompromised?
I'm asthmatic. I need an inhaler and as well as a nebulizer if I can't breathe.
Oh my gosh.
I'm on machine. And my son is the same way. He has to be on machines if need be for his breathing. So, COVID at that time was, if you catch this, you're going to lose, you're going to die, because it affects your breathing. I'm like, man, I can't breathe enough as it is. I need machines and stuff to make me work. So I opted out for that reason. And I was more scared for him that if I contacted something at WWE, that I would bring it home if he was with me. So I opted out for about 7 months. And for that 7 months, it was just being home and just trying to figure out what to do with everything. Trying to finish the divorce, trying to see my child, trying to figure out with WWE, trying to get training done, because you couldn't train anywhere. Go outside, and that's about all you can do. But then if you go outside, it was just so many restrictions. I was a mess. I was physically and mentally a mess until I figured out that I have to get my shit together, because I can't hide anymore. 6-7 months is enough. WWE is calling me, hey, when do you think you can come back? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm going through a lot of shit right now. Like, it's a blessing, it's a curse. If you look at it this way, they want you to be on TV, but if you're not mentally ready for TV, you can't give them your all. And I was like, I'm just not ready mentally. Physically, maybe I'm physically ready, but when you're mentally fucked and your whole world just fell apart, you don't know what to do. You don't know if you can perform at the level they want you to perform. And that's what I felt coming back. When I did come back, I felt like I wasn't ready, but I knew that for me to keep my job and to keep my spot, I had to go. And I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready when I came back, probably September, October, maybe. I was just not ready. I was just going through the motions and doing what I had to do, and they understood that. But I think negatively it affected my career in that aspect. And so I can get my shit together. I'm like, all right, now I'm ready to go. Let's do this. But it was a mind. It really was.
Did you are you like a proponent of therapy or anything at all?
I had therapy sessions and stuff through the pandemic, just to kind of see where my head was going. There was a lot of things going on, and mentally, it wasn't just my marriage or anything like that. It was just more career. Like, you finally, I was like, man, I just finally got my shot after 20 years. Here I am, signed my dream job, and then it just all got taken away from me.
That's heartbreaking.
What do you do? What do you do? And then you don't have the person that you were with for 9 years and your child. What do? You got everything ripped away from you in a matter of a month. So I spoke, I went through therapy for about 2 or 3 sessions, and I was like, you know what? I don't need this. Let me do this on my own, because eventually I'm always on my own. You have to rely on yourself. And that's just the way I am. That's just the way I'm built. So I dealt with it on my own and do my best. I'm still dealing with stuff, but you live, you keep moving, and I learned to just wake up every day and just be blessed that there's another day that you're woke, that you're awake, and just take it literally day by day. Every day is not going to be the same. And that's how I dealt with it for the most part.